Good day, everyone. This is Joe with eagleeyemold, state licensed mold assessor serving South Florida. And today I am going to give some snapshots of an inspection I did a few days ago. Typically, I don't go in attics, but in this situation, there's an air handler unit horizontally set, and there are a number of deficiencies in place. I'm also a state licensed home inspector, Castle Hawk Home Inspectors, and I'm integrating these two companies together, mold assessor and a home inspector, to provide more of a snapshot of your house and what deficiencies you have that may be problems for down the road. That's what I'm designing my business to be, instead of saying, hey, yeah, you got a leak, you got mold, here's a report. If I can stop situations from occurring, then I've done a better job than just coming there after a problem. But in this video, you're going to see a lot of deficiencies, and it's a lot of poor workmanship. And first, this is the return side of the air handler unit, and you can see tape peeling. There is a bunch of mastic all around, but this is the most important part here and here. So air from the attic is going into your HVAC system and reducing efficiencies. And we can see that here on the supply side. Now, typically, if this is done right, I could go in a house 40, 50 years old. I won't even see any spots like this. So this is poor workmanship. This is condensational effect. This is cold air seeping from the top of the unit due to poor installation of the plenum here. Again, there is a lot going on at the top. Again, this shouldn't be running across. And this is happening here where you have a separation. This insulation showing condensation. Typically, when installing ACs, I've done a lot of them. I worked for an AC company before I did mold work, and this knockout should be done here. You can see your low voltage in here. There is no again, this is open to the attic. This should be covered or sealed. This shouldn't be here to give you room to tape. And there's more flaws as we go through this these photos here. I shouldn't see insulation. This is inside the flex duct going to the tap collar to the supply, and this shouldn't be here. And look at all this gooped up mess here, and how they missed this. It's not like there was a lack of space to access this, so that drives me crazy. Again, the tape is just peeling, allowing air to be pulled in from the return side. There's no seal here, so air can enter in here. There's every little spot should be done properly. When I did AC, we would had good protocols on how to bring up some of the inefficiencies in an AC unit when it is in the attic, and sealing a lot of these seams was one of them. This is a supply duct. I think this was going to the bathroom. We used to use metal cans. We never used ductboard material for the supply. And again, this is a connection issue. The insulation is not brought down properly over the tap collar. You can see sweating over time. Again, poor insulation, and mold will grow where there's a lot of condensational moisture. You don't see it here or here where the affected areas are. Again, this is an uninhabitable space, but if the conditions are right, mold will start to grow. This is the back side of the unit of the supply side, and again, you shouldn't see this. This is again cold air mixing and contributing to the condensational effect and mold growth at this supply side. Once you start looking, you start to see more and more. And this is a splice, and you can see this is just a horrible job, and it's sweating and cold air. I could feel cold air coming out of there. So this connection is horrible. You're losing that efficiency for your AC. Basically, you're cooling off the attic. And you can see the insulation here should be brought and overlapped and then taped. But this is, again, poor workmanship here. This is just turning and kinking. This should be more of a turn here. Again, the connection here is poor, a seeping of cold air. I'm at a loss of words. Just crappy workmanship. And again, looking at these connection. This should be strapped. You should have more of a flow and not these kinks here and here. You want air to move as efficiently as possible. You don't want weight of cords and wires on top of your flex duct. So this should be strapped up. And again, the inspection is not being done at any level, whether it's city, management, whatever it is, whoever did the work, they're just slapping it and go. We can see here. Yeah, how are you going to get your hands underneath there? There's not enough space from the pan to the supply side. So how are you properly taping and sealing the bottom of that unit? And then I looked at this, I'm saying, why is there wood here? This is just terrible, and I'll show you in more detail. This is horrible workmanship right here. Just this piece of wood, or the wood holding the unit up as it is. And again, there's deterioration of the flex duct of the outer. I can see the insulation, that all that's left is the mylar on the inside. Now this is going to the next unit. So when I walked in, I looked up and I can see on the supply fiberglass ductboard material, there's discoloration. That discoloration is telling me there's something condensational going on. And that, if I take a sample, take it to the lab, this will come back cladosporium and some aspergillus penicillium, but this is telling me there is deficiencies in the system, and this is a byproduct of it, and this is what you see on the inside of the house when there are issues. And there could be multiple issues that create this problem also. Walking up into the attic, I see this and I says, wow, okay, so either it's super poor workmanship, or rodents getting into this and creating a problem. There may be some nibbles over here, there. Looks like this was taped up at one time. I mean, just tape all over. You can see the flex duct, the mylar inner is it's right there. Did anything bite this? I didn't see any droppings or anything like this, but this is just totally poor workmanship. And these are in my reports also for the future of the house. Again, poor workmanship. You can see just sloppy work. They're wiping their fingers with off with on here from the mastic that's all over the place. Connection here, I mean, it's just buried with mastic, but just horribly done. Condensational effect here at the supply side. Just poor workmanship through and through. And they have, I don't know, some sort of mesh here to help with the connection. Yeah, it's not working over here. Again, poor workmanship. Wiping their fingers, you can see missing mastic, missing tape. This should be heavily taped and mastic to get that fiberglass over that tap collar. Again, here you can see closer up condensation. So there was a lot of cold air leaking out of this unit when I was in the attic. How are you going to tape this? How are you going to get your hand underneath here to properly spray glue and tape this down? And another thing is, when I installed, we never did any kind of downward supply tap collars. And you can see the gravity here just starting to pull this down. So again, poor workmanship. Down the road you're going to have an issue. This separation is starting to show, and you got condensational growth over here. Now getting back to this. This is wood, a wood substrate in a pan designed to catch water, and oh my God, this is horrible, because when I did installs of ACs many years ago, we used green bar, or we had pans that were specially designed with just complete metal, proper areas to clip and put your turnbuckles and chain. Deck screws? No, I think these are drywall screws, and you'll see in the next pictures that they're issues at hand. But this is terrible. How well is this going to hold up when water goes in there time and time again? When will you know when there's water in this pan? So sometimes these float switches don't work. So these are just headaches that can happen down the road. And this had flooded before, or had a water issue, and you can see just a ton of rust. There's no reason to have all this rust here. This can get into your HVAC system, the dust, and you can see all the openings in the return that, over time it'll collect this and bring this into the HVAC system. So get rid of this pan, please. And now getting back to this, you can see this is rusting. It's a 1-inch screw, 2-inch screw, 3-inch screw. We don't know. Did they hammer this, in just to make sure it's tight? None of this makes sense. You can see low voltage wires, or these are your float switch wires, running underneath your low voltage here. And it's just poor workmanship. And this is the heart of your house. You need to have this as efficient as possible for the long term of your home. And then this was the doozy, the icing on the cake. Typically, you're from 5 tons to a half ton. It was always 3/8 on your liquid line. Always 3/8 from the air handler right to the condenser outside. These guys must have ran out of 3/8 copper and used the 1/8 inch copper and just slide it in, no coupling, and just solder this together. This is the wrong type of connection. This is the wrong type of material. You're changing the pressures, you're changing the values, you're creating inefficiencies or creating too much of efficiency where you can provide problems, for the compressor down the road. But this is wrong. This is usually a liquid line that you use water to the refrigerator, this thin line. We never had anything less than 3/8. So these are the things that I see. These are the things that drive me crazy. These are the things that I put in my reports. So you're aware of what's going on, whether it's in the attic, whether it's in a house. I see so many deficiencies, and then my job is to report on it and to give you the best information for what is happening now and for down the road. So this is today's episode is, oh my God, what the hell you guys doing in the attic? You guys have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. I'll have some more videos out next week or two, and then we'll go from there. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye-bye.